Hi, how are you? I'm out here in the playground. See? Yeah. To talk a little bit about what's going on, like I do every week. And first, I want to know, how was your week? School? Is it over? Do you have another week? Is it wonderful? Did you graduate? Did you go to the prom? Did you have a celebration? Maybe you graduated from preschool, or maybe you graduated from middle school or kindergarten. So changes, changes. And now it's going to be summer. Yay! That's why I'm in the playground, because it's going to be summer. So I was thinking about changes today, because we have a lot of them. We've talked about changes before, but there's a big one now. Well, first of all, we're going to have a new pastor. Reverend Kim is coming in July, and we're going to have Pastor Younghuck for the next 2 weeks to be there for us. So no changes right this second, but in a couple of weeks. So we're going to have a whole way of doing things, a whole new way of doing things. So that's exciting. It's exciting. What else is exciting is that the rules are changing about the pandemic. So the rules at camp are changing. I have camp this year. Camp is open. Schools are open, or they're going to be in September and in the summer. And the rules are changing. So the adults who've had vaccines don't have to wear masks anymore, so we can see your beautiful faces. Yay! Maybe you have to still stay apart from each other, but not too bad. And if you're all vaccinated, you don't have to. You can go into a store without the mask on. And kids can be vaccinated from 12 and up. And so that's pretty cool too. Things are changing. And I'm excited about it. But I'm also a little bit nervous about it, a little bit scared, because we're changing again. Change is hard, right? And so one of the things that's happening is that, like I said, you don't have to wear a mask anymore if you're vaccinated. But that's a little scary. When I walk to school, I always go in the street when somebody walks by me. And I was thinking today while I was walking, maybe I don't have to do that anymore. And then I thought, yeah, I still want to do that. There's going to be changes. And hopefully we'll open up a little. But there's going to be a little bit of fear with doing that too. So maybe we can figure out how to deal with that fear, so when they come, we won't be surprised by it, and we can slowly go back to a place where we don't have to be quite as afraid. So I was looking in the Bible, because that's what I do, and I saw a couple things. And one of the things has to do with talking to other people and dealing with other people and understanding the point of view that they're at. So Ephesians 4, that's chapter 4, verse 2, just says this: always be humble and gentle, be patient, and accept each other with love. So what does that mean? That means exactly what it says. Accept each other. That means if somebody else does not feel the same way you do, it's okay. You do not have to feel the same way about things. Just accept it and understand that people are different. And God made us that way, didn't He? He made us different so that we can learn to deal with each other. We have another one. Micah chapter 6, verse 8. The Lord has told you what is good. He told you what He wants from you. Do what is right to other people. Love being kind to others. That means enjoy it and do it and feel it. And live humbly, trusting your God. Okay, live humbly means, what does it mean? It means you know that you are not the center of the world. You know God is the center of the world. You know that other people have other ways of thinking of things, but it doesn't have to be the same as yours, and it doesn't mean it's wrong, just different. And God made it that way. So if God made it that way, that's how it should be. We have to understand. We can feel the way we feel about things, we also need to accept that other people do not feel that way. That does not make them wrong and us right. It does not make us wrong and them right. It just makes us part of God's world. That it's okay. We have to be different. Philippians 4:9, and do what you learned. What did Jesus teach us? Take care of other people. Love God. Love other people. Do what I told you and what you saw me do. And the God who gives peace will be with you. If you do this, if you love other people, if you take care of other people, God will always be with you. Always. God's always with you anyway. But when you are doing something that you know God wants you to do, you feel Him. You're right there with Him. You can bring it in. If you're doing something you know is not right, then your whole self stops Him from coming into you. I honestly think that. I honestly think that it's up to us. It's up to me to allow God in. And the way I do that is by doing what I know He wants me to do. That makes perfect sense, doesn't it? That allow God in. If you don't do what God wants, if you don't do what somebody wants, you're not allowing them in your life. If you're doing what God wants, you're saying, I gotcha. I'm with you. Thank you. And if you do something wrong, 2 Corinthians 7:10, if you do something wrong, take responsibility for it. Being sorry in the way God wants makes a person change his heart and life. This leads to salvation. If you know you did something wrong, accept it, acknowledge it, and know that you're wrong, and say, I'm sorry. Because the Lord, Psalm 9:9-10, the Lord defends those who suffer. He protects them in times of trouble. Those who know the Lord trust Him. He will not leave them. God's there for us. Whether we choose to acknowledge it, that's up to us. But He's there. So, if there's changes, we need to be able to handle them. God, I hope this makes sense. The pandemic is changing. It's not over, but it's changing. And in order for us to get through the next year or 2 years, we have to change a little bit. We have to push through our fears. I looked up some stuff that wasn't in the Bible of what we can do to handle this. These are things we can do to push through the fear, right? Focus on what's in my control. What can I control, and what do I have to let go? But focus on what I can figure out. I can control whether I wear a mask or not. I can control what stores I go into, what restaurants I go into, and I can control who I'm around. I can do that. Make a bucket list of the things you want to do again. I want to go in a restaurant and have dinner. I want to be able to talk to my children at school with no mask on so they can see my face. I want to be able to have all my children come back to school and be happy and not afraid and run around, be together. Accept whatever you're feeling. Sometimes you see me and I'm smiling and I'm laughing, and sometimes you see me and I have tears. That's who I am. I have fear, I have love, I have joy, I have a sense of humor, but I also have a little bit of sadness. So tears come with sadness and joy, don't they? So when you see me, you could tell, Miss Kathy's feeling again, and I accept that. I'm okay with that. And because I'm okay with it, it comes a little quicker sometimes. But then I get through it, and I get through it. Accept whatever you're feeling, and reintroduce activities slowly. You don't have to do everything at the same time. You don't have to go into a grocery store and a restaurant and hug somebody you don't know all in the same minute. Do stuff slow. There's all kinds of stuff you can do. I was talking to my friend today, And here's the thing. Simple. The two things we talk about all the time: love God, love other people. Loving God means trusting that He's going to be there for us. And also trusting that when there's a little bit of fear or a little bit of pain or sadness, God's good with that. Love other people. Accept them for who they are. Love them for who they are. Understand that we are all different, and that's okay. God made us that way for a reason. And I think the reason is because none of this is perfectly right. I am not perfectly right all the time. So if you have a friend who's dealing with the changes, whether it was coming into this pandemic or where we are now with opening up a little bit, if you have a friend that's not ready to do that, or if you have a friend that's been ready to do this for months, love them. And no, it's okay. This is a scary time. It's a crazy time. But man, have we learned something from this. I've learned a lot. But one of the things I learned is that I can get through this. And the other thing I learned was, whether I'm sad or scared or crazy or loving, God's okay with it. I learned how to be closer and to listen and to talk to Him better. So through this whole thing, we didn't know it, but we were learning. And through this whole thing, we got better. Regardless, we got better. And we all got better in a different way. So maybe this week, we can be more tolerant of other people, regardless of who they are or what they do. Because honestly, I don't think God made anyone completely and utterly evil. I think that maybe they might change to that point, and only a certain few. But I think God made it so that we have parts of us that are positive and good for other people, and parts of us that fight against that. I don't know. Sometimes I don't know if I make sense. But I want you to go out, and I want you to understand that it's okay to be different, and it's okay for other people to not be the same as you. And we will get through this. And we are getting through this. And we've learned a lot. Have a great week. I love you. I miss you a lot. But we'll be together soon. Have a good week.